Coming up on this week's podcast, we're talking about Volcano Bay's grand opening, a celebration of Harry Potter 2017, Comcast and their earnings, The Tonight Shop, and then finally wrapping up all of that fun and excitement with our review on Shrek 4D. All that's coming up live from the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida. This is the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I messed that one up a little bit. Oh, what? We're rolling? Oh. This is episode 114 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect universal vacation. Please visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host, Craig Williams, and today I am joined alongside by Mr. Rhino Clavin in a pizza shirt.
Pizza.
Also in the, I believe, the right third of his framing there. And then also Oliver Green back on the controls. Social producer. Welcome. Hey, guys. Thanks for being here for today's episode. This is going to be a good one.
You're
Lots
welcome.
of fun stuff to talk about. Yes, no, thank you. I really do appreciate it. We have a lot to go over. Each week, we're getting up to like Monday planning out what we're going to discuss on this week's episode and each week's episode. And we don't have anything really to say. And then it just blows up right before we get started. And I'm very excited for this one. A lot of big news. So why don't we stop wasting time with it and just jump right into it?
Sounds good to me, Craig.
Make
Good.
a splash, Craig.
Make a splash?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you where a lot of people will be able to make a splash come May 25th. Any guesses? Any guesses?
Your community pool.
Craig's annual pool party.
No, I do not have a pool. That was one thing that I always said I never wanted when I wanted a house, because I would rather go, starting May 25th, 2017, of course, to Volcano Bay, Universal's third theme park, as the world is debating it right now. I know we even had this debate a little bit earlier. Is it a theme park? Is it a water park? Should Disney start calling their water parks theme parks? What happens? Honestly, I guess as long as it does, if it's a park that has a theme, it is a theme park.
See, I'm going to put it out there. I think they're playing a very dangerous game here. And when I say this, I'm not talking about us, and I'm not talking about the people that watch this show, because they're obviously, theme park goers. A lot of the people that visit like this state to go to the attractions, they're on vacation and they turn off a little bit. And if all the marketing they hear is theme park, theme park, theme park, how many people do you think are going to rock up in a pair of shorts and a shirt and absolutely no bathing suits?
7.
See? And do you know what that is? That's 7 too many, because nobody does that for Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon. Just putting it out there. So I'm looking forward to it, but I think it was very stupid of them to call it a third gate. They should have just gone straight in there and said it was a water park, which, it is. I'm sure it's going to be good, but...
Well, we still don't know what yeah. I don't know. When they were marketing it, remember they made this big deal about it being this new cutting edge thing. It's not open yet. It is using technology that hasn't really been used in a water park before.
But it's still a water park.
But you have to have a bathing suit to go to this park, yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I mean, you don't have to, but you'll be weird if you're just walking around in jeans.
No, Rhino, you have to.
I don't know. We will get more. I mean, well, really, we already covered the announcement. It's opening May 25th. That's basically all we were told. We got invited to a press event that will be happening May 22nd through the 25th. So we'll be covering it completely from head to toe, everything that we're allowed to talk about. And we've talked a lot about Volcano Bay in the past, like the 4 lands and 18 attractions that will make it all up, in the Tapu Tapu wearables that will use virtual line experience, and how awesome the Krakatoa Aqua Coaster is going to be, using that LEM technology to actually propel your raft that you're riding on up the hills. Like it's all going to be very cool. Do you have something to say?
No, I didn't want to derail you. I was going to say, this is the first time they've used the linear induction motors on a water slide, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just making
That's
sure.
what I said about technology.
Technology.
You sound like a terrible rip-off
did.
of Russell Brand.
No, that's what I thought too. So there you go.
Peace. Yeah, so
I almost said a bad word because I was quoting him.
Sarah
from
just
something.
pointed out in chat here, and this is kind of what I was thinking while you guys were kind of going back and forth. Who's going to show up, like, ready for the water park, all that, if they think it's a theme park? Well, it's going to make a killing when they have, as soon as you walk into the park, they are going to be selling swimwear, towels, this, that, and the other. And you know what? It's cheap on Universal's part, but it's kind of the same way at Cabana Bay, how they have this awesome lazy river, but because they don't have the technology there on site to clean the rafts, they just make you buy your own, and that's how they get around that. Interesting now to see how they'll handle it, considering there will be a lot of rafts being used just right across the way that I'm sure will have to have this cleaning technology involved. Finally, that they didn't have, so I don't know if that'll change all that. But it surely, because of the terminology on this, okie dokie, airplane. Surely because of the technology. Gosh, now you derailed me.
Sorry.
And you know they will be able to stand to make a lot of money based on how it's all going to be. But I'm still in the ballpark here, and I'm going to defend Universal a little bit on this one. And I look at there's two differences between a theme park and an amusement park. An amusement park and theme park may have all of the same attractions, but the difference between the two is that an amusement park has no overlying theme to be in the whole park. So that's why people say stuff like, Six Flags is awful, and there's a lot of complaints even going out to California, Knott's Berry Farm. Well, they are a theme park. It is about as loose as you can play with a theme park.
Ghost town. Ooh.
It's and that's it. They try to tie these loose themes together, but they're not as solid as Disney and Universal is. That's why they're amusement parks. And with that, as long as Volcano Bay does hold that one theme altogether throughout, it will be a theme park, regardless of the fact that it is a water park. There's nothing that says that it has to be only water attraction. It can't be water attractions. It has to only be roller coasters and stuff like that. There's nothing that says what has to be in a theme park.
Yeah, this will be
It's
different
just-
from like Water Country.
it has a
Massachusetts or whatever. Or not Massachusetts, Connecticut. I do have a question though.
Yes, sir.
Do we know yet how the annual pass situation will work? Like you and I have, or all of us have, the higher tier annual pass. Are we going to be able to, when May rolls around, to just be able to go?
We still have no information on that. That right now, the only thing we know, you can buy tickets for it, but not like one-day tickets, because of course Universal's one-day tickets are on a tiered price system based on the season and what expected crowds are. So right now they're not currently available to purchase, but if you get it part of a 2-day or more ticket package, those are already available to buy now. We could start buying those back in November. Annual passes, we just still don't have answers on. Hopefully that will come soon, though.
Water Country's in New Hampshire. Well, I would go, because when is your pass and my pass are up at like the same time, and I think that's close to that.
Yeah, July. So we'll get a little
Yeah.
hope. I mean, I'm thinking that at first premier passes and stuff won't have them, or maybe they will right away, but then a new tier of annual pass might come out where you can add on water parks
Like how
with
Disney
it.
does it?
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, we still need to get all those details, but we do have the opening date. I'm going with Universal. I'm saying it's a theme park, and with that, I am also saying to Disney that they need to officially change their stance and say that they have 6 theme parks and go with it, because technically Blizzard Beach is all under a theme.
So is
It
Typhoon
ended up
Lagoon, yeah.
so is Typhoon Lagoon. They both have themes and stories to them. That's Disney. Disney puts a story behind everything, even if it is not a very good story, even if it's the loosest story possible. They put a story behind it. So that is what I say about that. That is where the cookie crumbles, and doggone it.
I just thought of the name of Oliver's autobiography. I'll tell you later.
Cookie crumbles.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cookie Crumbles.
It was before that part. Yeah. Sure.
I'll listen back. I'll figure it out. So, look forward to that coverage, May 25th. I don't know who I'll be bringing with me. I don't even know if I'll be going. We don't know anything yet. It's all very exciting.
I want it to be this like dramatic, like Oliver and Rhino's race to Craig. Like we have to compete. You set us through a series of challenges to be the plus one.
I personally-
and then in the end, it's Corey.
I personally think at the end of the day, it's going to be whoever feels the most comfortable walking around shirtless for a day.
Not me.
Oh,
No,
it's
I
got
was
those
gonna
full
say-
body tattoos.
Yeah. I was going to just put it out there as a previous Ellis trained lifeguard. I thought I'd be on top of the list.
That is
Both
true.
Corey and
You could be
I
a
would
lifeguard, but I'll still drown you.
Hey,
In this
I-
competition.
I wish.
Boom.
Oh, okay. I was going to say something terrible.
Did he just spank himself? I think it picked up on the mic, but okay.
I slapped the side of my
Congratulatory
leg.
slap.
I slapped the side of my leg. It wasn't like
When Oliver threatens you, he slaps himself. So
Dude's
watch out.
spanking himself. So, okay, let's
But
move
it's
on.
exciting either way. I'm looking forward to
It
that.
is exciting. And one thing I know it's going to have a big effect on is how much Universal makes next year. And that is a perfect segue into going how much they made last quarter as well as last year, because Comcast just had their earnings call today and put out their earnings report.
It's exciting.
Things seem to be going very well for them because there you go. their fourth quarter revenue for theme parks. I'm not going to talk about all Comcast, just Universal Parks and Resorts. Their theme parks revenue alone increased 32.1% to $1.3 billion in the fourth quarter, and operating cash flow increased 41.9% to $640 million. And year-end results are just as impressive, 48.2% rise to $4.9 billion compared to 2015, and operating cash flow increased 49.6% to $2.2 billion. And we can look at the success of stuff like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Hollywood having record attendance. We don't really cover Hollywood that much unless we know we're going on a trip out there. But yeah, over the whole New Year period, that peak period through the year, they actually even hit capacity at the park. Just so many people wanted to get in and see it. And then, of course, stuff here like Skull Island, Reign of Kong, the Incredible Hulk roller coaster also helped things out. And next year, we're looking at more happening with Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon, Volcano Bay, the new towers at Cabana Bay, just a lot that is going to drive revenue. And apparently pretty much the capacity at all our resorts too were like 90% throughout the year. So that's an amazing number. Makes it very hard to get a hotel room here, but it is clear that Comcast and Universal have no problem with money right now, as if anyone actually thought that. But it's kind of surprising for a little bit, actually, because one thing we've talked about here and there on this show before is the success of Skull Island, Reign of Kong. And, at first we weren't really clear on whether or not it was a big hit. The crowds were there for the first couple months, like you would expect any brand new attraction. And then the strangest thing has been happening like the past 2 weeks that we've been going to Universal very often is that we're walking around the park. Everything has a 10 to 20 minute wait, except for Skull Island, which has anywhere between a 90 to 120 minute wait. I can't figure out what's going on with that.
I think it just appeals to an awful lot of people. It's a thrill attraction to an extent that you can take everyone on, So I don't know, it just covers an awful lot of demographics, the kind of people that are going to want to get on that attraction. So I like it an awful lot. I really do. I can see it. I can see why it's so popular. And not to mention as well, and I bashed on about this before, I'm going to do it again, the queue. I know that the lines, exceed, like Craig said, 90 minutes plus. The queue is something to be enjoyed on this attraction. As soon as you make it inside, you're set. Like, you're going to be entertained for the next 40 minutes.
Chigarette raises an interesting thing because she's saying maybe it's because of the new movie, the promotion that's being pushed toward the new
Very
movie.
true.
But
It
I
is.
am curious to see, though, as well, when that movie does actually get released, if that's going to have an effect.
I think
on,
it will. I'm starting to see more and more promotion. There's little pop-ups and stuff starting to come up at movie theaters, all promoting the movie. So I think we are just seeing the start of the separate movie that has nothing to do with the Universal attraction. Just juggernauting it into a even more of a success as a ride. So I think the best thing to say in this case is congratulations, Comcast. We will keep buying annual passes and giving you money as much as we can.
Take my money.
Take it and do with it what you will. So
give it to the peanut butter diamond.
Yeah, more peanut butter diamonds.
No, that's your name.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
That's what I'm saying. Give the money to Peanut Butter Diamond.
I forgot that was my that was my stripper name, Peanut Butter Diamond. Sorry, my bad. Completely forgot there. So let's talk about something that opened up this past week, which was slightly exciting. I believe it was on Saturday. Or was it
No,
Friday?
It was Friday.
Friday, yes.
Friday.
So just last week after we recorded our last show, the first signs of Jimmy Fallon started to pop up in there at Universal with the grand opening of the Tonight Shop. Such a clever name.
Yeah,
I see what they did there.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't do it. That's the name of the shop. It's on a big moon right outside the shop. So, the Tonight Shop is where you clearly, if you ever go inside the shop, right now there's this black curtained area still on the interior that is just visibly blocking off the stairway that you will come down after you are finished with the attraction. And maybe it's not even after you're finished with the attraction, but there is like this little like stop symbol up above that makes me think that they're not allowing anyone up. Yeah. But we do know that on the second floor of this whole building area, Oliver and I noticed it recently, that there's this like kind of outdoor patio section that we saw workers on.
Oh, really?
And you got a little bit more information about that, didn't you?
I did, yeah, not too much. I asked, when I visited the store, which is very nice, we'll get into that in a minute, I was asking one of the Universal team members about the space upstairs and whether they knew anything. And I did point out that I've seen people walking on that like barrier side thing there. And she did confirm to me that it's a space. I asked if it was going to be like a bar or whether they're going to do anything with it. I'm putting that out there. She never said that to me. I'm speculating, but she did confirm that it was a space.
Well,
she didn't know what was going to happen.
You raise a good idea with the bar, the bar thought, because if the whole idea is that you're not really waiting in line for stuff, and they have all these things that you can do, one thing would be like a lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Anything. All I keep thinking of is the fact that has a beautiful side view of the stage. So, like, I doubt they would ever let anyone up there, unless it was a bar or restaurant type area where you could sit up there and just, like, watch concerts from.
VIP
but that is where
area.
I would want, if there was a bar there and I could just set up a bar stool right at the edge and watch Mardi Gras concerts or whatever happen on that main stage, I would sit through that terrible country music that Rhino Clavin hates. Just to have a good.
He
spot.
sure does. Hey, question. What?
It was just the way you said that. It was.
Does.
I think we were watching Anchorman or something right before this started. Just quips going into each other.
Whatever you say, Tim. I am curious about the merchandise.
Yeah, well, that's what we should talk about since it is a merch shop.
Hashtag the panda stuff.
Yes, there is hashtag the panda stuff.
You
there
know I
is
care about the pandas.
Plenty of the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon merchandise, or Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. I forget the official phrasing for it. There's just a lot there's some New York generalized merchandise. There's a couple like kids shirt that actually like have graphics of the ride vehicle.
People in the chat room are saying I should get a hashtag the panda costume, and then someone saying there is a hashtag the panda costume.
There was a hashtag the panda costume.
I'm not sure whether someone purchased it or whether it disappeared, but the space that it used to sit on, and there was only one there when I seen it, it's now been filled in with shelves.
How much was it?
So if my memory serves me correct, it was either just under or just over $100. I can't remember which
That's
side
it?
it fell on. So
was it a terrible panda costume?
it was like a good old like full size panda costume. I was impressed.
Oh, we should have got it.
Someone else bought it. I mean, maybe they had a lot, and a lot of people bought them. I'm sure it will make its way back. Right now, this is a good period for this shop to be open. They're going to be able to test the waters, see what merchandise is actually selling for it. Because, for some people, I guess, that have never made it to New York but love Jimmy Fallon, they might want a Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon shirt like that, whereas that's not for me. What I loved in this store, and I will say, I had to stop myself 100% from going crazy with it. They had all this old retro NBC logos.
I saw the
merchandise out there.
The logo pillow and stuff like that.
No, not even that. They have this one what does Disney call it? Toothpick holders.
Yeah,
a shot glass set that has all these NBC logos through the decades. So the first one starts off when it was still the radio, and then it goes into the peacock feathers and just the different styles of it. And they have it on hats, they have it on coffee mugs. It's just it's very cool to me. That's what's appealing in it. There was a bunch of shirts that are from I guess some of Jimmy's skits on the shows where he's
the girl.
He's wearing tight pants and white pants, and I don't understand any of this.
They do sell the tight white pants as well, which I'm assuming is a thing because
you can buy the tight white pants there.
Yeah, so if you look at these t-shirts, if you're watching the show right now, we'll explain for the audio people. There's t-shirts that say, "I've got my tight pants, I got my tight pants on," which I'm assuming is from a skit of some sort. So they sell the t-shirt and the pants.
Do they have anything that goes with that 16-year-old girl he ever is? Ow!
No, but they have a giant...
Ow.
I think they had a giant picture of him in there as the 16-year-old girl, right? As soon as you're walking in one of the outside doors. Very hard to get a good photo of it because it is as soon as you walk in. But there's a photo. There's kind of these photos. You've seen it in some of the pictures if you've been watching the show so far. We'll have a video and a full gallery to go up later with all this. But yeah, it's adorned with the roots up and around. There's definitely photos of Jimmy Fallon in there. There's one of who's his Gelman, Steve, whatever his name is.
The real question here is: can you buy Jimmy Fallon's hit movie with Drew Barrymore?
No. It is relegated to NBC, Tonight Show, and just basically that merchandise. So they have the thank you cards. That you're able to purchase, and
I might need the shirt that has the
weird tattoos.
Tattoos.
Plenty of pins and
keychains,
jewelries.
Is that a cookbook on the top shelf, or is that the?
No, those are the tattoos. But there's a lot. I'm actually very impressed with this shop. It's very, very.
It looks like the most, other than obviously Harry Potter area that has a ton of merchandise, but it looks like, to me, from those photos and what I've seen, one of the more well-equipped attraction merchandise areas in both of the parks.
Yeah, I will say two things. It is not as large as I thought it was going to be on the inside of that gift shop. It is very tight. It looks spacious. It's not. But it's a great space. There's great stuff in there for anyone who's a fan of Jimmy Fallon and his whole thing. Again, I'm all about that retro stuff. If I needed more crap in my house, I would probably start buying this crap, and eventually I might buy some of this crap. Mm-hmm. Right now, I just don't need it.
For your crap house.
But from a crap house. But it does give a little bit of extra promise to this whole area that I know none of us have gotten really super excited about. The anticipation is starting to build. They're finishing up stuff like the exterior sign. It's almost getting there. They're really coming through with it. I am getting a little bit of anticipation for it, and
What's our opening date again? I'm sorry,
April 4th.
April 4th.
So,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, we will. We've been going over, Oliver and I have been going over and kind of testing, starting with that Shrek wait time return testing, and then doing it a couple times at Despicable Me now. And I feel like they are really starting to figure out how to work this whole return time system. They're getting a very good idea with it. The latest update is yesterday. We were at Despicable Me, and last time we went to do it, they were doing only return time tickets and express. And that's the two options you had. Yesterday when we went, they were doing return time tickets, they were doing a standby line, and then they were doing express as its own line. So basically every little bit, they would take return time ticket people all the time, as they moved into their time slot. But standby people, they just kind of had standing off to the side, and as they deemed warranted, they would start kind of pulsing them into the return time ticket line and kind of building it up in that way. So I think that didn't work out too bad. I mean, we didn't wait in the standby line. We did return time ticket again, and it was 15 minutes on the dot that it took us that we had to wait in total. I know you went in the weekend. You didn't have to wait anything.
Nothing, not at all. I went over the weekend. At that time, they were doing just the return time tickets, and we got straight on. We just walked straight into the pre-show room, and we got straight into the attraction itself. With the return time tickets setup that they had going on when we visited the other day, Craig, when they open up the standby queue as well, although it felt fine for us, you've seen as well as I did, that wait time for standby at that moment in time was 40 minutes, which again is a lot less than that attraction normally pulls in. So, it is impacting the standby time in a positive way as well, which is a good thing. But that line was incredibly short. We could see both the beginning and the end of the standby line.
Yeah.
If you're literally standing in one spot for 40 minutes, essentially, it must be so frustrating to just stand there and watch this constant stream of people go through. So my hope, and I believe this is what they're going to do with Volcano Bay, obviously, and Race Through New York, is that they actually eliminate the standby line, and they actually almost, I don't want to say force, I'm going to say train all the guests that go to Universal to get this return time ticket, because it seemed to work so well.
That's what it should be, because ideally it is basically like the same function. You go up, you get a thing, and that's just like you've entered the line, and now however many people have gone up before you, that's the wait you have.
Yeah, we got a little bit of inside detail about how Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon was built, and I can't share any of it because I promised the person who said it that we wouldn't share anything. But I will say that, this, even though this all started popping up, I think it was November when they first started testing it at Shrek. It might have been even earlier when they originally tested it at Pteranodon Flyers and put it in. But they've had this idea for a long time. So when it finally opens up first with Jimmy Fallon, since we know that's beating Volcano Bay, they have thought about every single scenario on how to use this system and how to balance it out. So if it doesn't work, they will be able to make changes and adjustments. So it's going to be smooth. And, I'm still not hugely excited, but
I'm excited for it as in, like, it's a new attraction.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the perfect way to say it. And I think we should just segue into the last thing. Speaking of new things that are coming up this weekend. Mm-hmm. Not new things necessarily, new people. Since we thought the
Oliver
last show
will be leaving us.
Oliver will be leaving.
Someone said that the other day. Don't joke around. They were like, I've got a feeling Oliver's going to leave us. No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint.
News to us. We have a little bit more information on a celebration of Harry Potter that will be starting tomorrow. Yeah, so we thought we were done last week after that Jason Isaacs announcement. We thought that was the last celebrity.
But then the father becomes the son.
Exactly. And we wake up and like, oh, crap. They announced that Tom Felton's going to be there now, too. So that's happening. For people who don't know who Tom Felton is out there, that, of course, is Draco Malfoy.
Terrible people.
You're terrible people first. But for people who do know, it's Draco Malfoy, the little blonde annoying runt that runs around always hating on Harry Potter. Kind of annoying.
Potter.
Oh, yes, Potter.
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 Then Harry done up, sliced that kid right up in the bathroom one.
Showing off for your muggle admirers, aren't you, Potter?
Showing off for your mugger.
Gave him a sectum sempra right in that kid's bathroom.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so
That's what you get for bringing birds into the school.
He'll be attending a celebration of Harry Potter and taking place in, I'm sure, the opening ceremony, the tribute ceremony.
Do you think he'll
that's
talk about
happening.
the Flash at all?
No, I don't think so. It's because that's what
Planet of the Apes, maybe?
No, they won't talk about any of that. So because you have to realize when Diagon Alley opened, it was already announced at that point that Donald Gleason was going to have a part in Star Wars, and it was already announced that Robbie Coltrane, or no, not. Maybe it was Robbie Coltrane. It was either Robbie Coltrane or then later it was Michael Gambon. Sorry, Michael Gambon also
The casual vacancy?
He was in
Yeah.
a casual vacancy, and so they were asking questions about that, and they are told like, no, you have to stay on Potter topic the entire time. You aren't allowed to leave that. So no, they won't be talking about other stuff. But I think he's a huge get. It's not his first time being here, but still appreciated. He seems like he doesn't want to be there, but not as badly as Matthew Lewis. He just seems like he absolutely doesn't want to be there.
Who? Tom?
Matthew Lewis. He
But his
hates
girl-
going to this stuff.
Yeah, but he's got it because he gets the free ride to see his fiance.
But he hates being there at this point. He doesn't want to hear the same questions anymore. I'm sorry, you went to panels with him and stuff. He doesn't
he's
give
lazy.
a crap
He's got
anymore.
that porn star mustache.
Yeah,
and
he
it's
just
very, like,
he doesn't care. Well, he did shave that. Whereas like Ivana Lynch, it's sad that she's not coming back.
no, she loves it.
She put on Twitter she couldn't get a visa for it to come back and work, to be a part of it. So
I want to know what she's done because they hand out visas
Thanks,
for
Trump.
stuff like that, like no tomorrow,
I
unless
don't-
you've got some criminal background.
I don't know. I just saw it. Someone else
it
retweeted
too late
the
of
answer.
notice or
I
something?
think it was too late of notice to
Oh,
get a
okay,
work visa
okay.
to come here and be a part of it. So that's why she's not going to show up. But like
she should have been their number one.
I feel like Tom Felton he brings that same, even though he doesn't exude it as much as Ivana, he still cares about this stuff as much as she did, as much as like the twins do when they show up to the stuff, which is surprising why they're not coming back too. But if you're not excited about the celebrities, we also got our first look at some of the merch. The most excited thing for me, I know you're most excited about the exclusive wand. I think you mentioned that.
Except for there's no photo.
There isn't.
So it makes me. I'm excited but weary.
Yeah.
And also, you can only pre-order it at the event, so it's not something you're going to be able to get and walk away with.
No, but it's your only chance basically to get that.
And Universal, all the wands they sell are beautiful. So, and they're the original ones and the ones for the movies and all that. So I'm just curious, like, do they sell Newt Scamanders yet?
I haven't seen. I have seen those in other stores. I think I saw it in what's that one store that's like Box Lunch or something?
Where?
It's in Florida Mall.
Are you talking about the Think Geek store?
No, it's called Box Lunch. It's like the whole mission behind the store is if you spend like $30, they will donate one box lunch.
Oh, that's
to
nice.
like a charity. It's something like that. I'll look it up when I'm not talking for once. You guys have talked a lot. I didn't want that to sound passive aggressive. It wasn't.
Did.
But but it wasn't meant that way.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But
No.
no. So I've seen their wands there. They have had they've had people from that movie in those. I'm most excited. I used to collect them. I don't have them all because it's a lot of money.
There's a lot of wands. I was just gonna say.
No, not the wands. I'm most excited for the Gilderoy Lockhart exclusive
I've been-
chocolate frog card.
I've been asked by my friend, by Nicole, to
Yeah.
retrieve one for her, and I was like, I didn't know she collected all those. I know she gets a chocolate frog every time she goes, but yeah, they're going to be like specially labeled when you go to, so you know it's
Yeah.
them. And they said like you're guaranteed to get that one, and then eventually that'll just go into the mix of
Exactly. So for people, the store is called Box Lunch, and it's a chain. It's called Get Some, Give Back. Nice.
No,
Box
I'll have
Lunch.
to check it out.
It's right next to Cake Boss's store.
Oh yeah, where you get the fondant.
Right next to Cake Boss and right across the way from Fat Ones.
Oh, I want to go there. That's a Patreon vlog right there. We go get hot dogs at Joey Fatone's hot dog fat one place.
Every time I go there, I'm like, I expect Joey Fatone to be there, just slinging dogs.
Just come up to the counter. Is Joey here?
Joey.
Well, say bye to my business if he's not.
Terrible. So, yeah, the Gilderoy Lockhart chocolate frog will be the same price as all the other chocolate frogs. If you don't get it while it's still in that 2-week period when it's marked differently, it'll be like the Albus Dumbledore card that just went into normal rotation. When that first came out, that was out, I think, for about a month before that went away. And so, you know, if you had all the 4 founders of Hogwarts and you've had those and you're looking for something different, then this is a new one to go after. They're also going to have plenty of t-shirts, pins, merchandise, all related to the event. I'm not a huge fan of the logo this year.
It's very colorful compared to like very bright and not to say that Harry Potter isn't bright, but I I don't know the exact word I want to ostentatious. It's very gaudy. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Yeah,
It doesn't look like it normally does. That's the thing. It normally fits into that. Who are the people that do the logo and designs that usually show up and they do a...
Are you talking about Mina Lima?
Yeah, Mina Lima. Yeah. They're usually like in tune with that.
But I will say that Mina Lima is doing like a poster for this event like they've done for the rest, and they will have some exclusive artwork available. And that is still all very in tune with what they've done in the past. It's just the event merchandise feels like typical Universal merchandise, which to me is just not great. It's Universal merchandise on a whole, to me, is the equivalent of going to Walt Disney World and picking up something that says the year on it. It's just, it looks a little bit cheap. There are, you know, in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, you can get some really great stuff. In Simpsons, you can get some really great stuff. But as a whole, there's a lot of miss more than hit. Which reminds me that we haven't done a merchandise segment in a while, so we might have to even revisit that soon.
I'm surprised you didn't do... You mean like a video?
Well, we did like our best merchandise shops, our favorite ones at one point in time.
Oh, yeah.
We got to revisit that in the future. But yeah, that's Harry Potter Celebration this weekend. Celebration of Harry Potter, sorry. It starts tomorrow night, and we will be bringing coverage from it a little bit here and there all weekend. Mostly Rhino and I, because again, Oliver is British and hates Harry Potter. So that's going to do it for all that stuff. Let's finish up the rest of the show with the reason for the season, and that is Shrek 4D. We needed like even better than that. We needed like an echo on that 4D.
Like it's
Okay. So, you know, on this show, over the past little bit, oh goodness gracious. Thank goodness we didn't have the 360 camera right there
for what I just did.
You know, we've had a whole bunch of fun on segments throughout the past couple of years here, talking about our unofficial Dis Universal Hall of Fame and going over the attractions that are at Universal and voting on whether or not we would put them in the Hall of Fame and having everyone vote. And you know, we have a long way to go with that. We have a lot of attractions, ones that aren't open anymore, ones that are still open that we need to cover. And you know, we decided to do this one after testing out the return time tickets at Shrek. Like, well, we haven't done this one yet. We need to get on it. And oh my gosh,
This is Craig's favorite attraction.
I will say, before we did it the other day, Craig, when we went on the attraction, the time I'd done Shrek previously was, I'd say, about 2 to 3 years prior to that. And this thing has not stood the test of time. I'm sure we'll get into it in great detail, but she ages like a leather handbag. It was not good.
Is she being Fiona?
You know, I meant the ride
You're
in
judging
general.
the animated character like, oh, she's not looking good. Shrek is going to divorce her. She gave up. They ride in an onion.
this stuff was terrible. So, wow, I don't know where that even came from. It was awful. So, Shrek 4D is a very, very interesting attraction. It is a 4D film. So, you know, when you hear that classic complaint about Universal, screens. Well, you don't have to worry about this one because it's not a screen. It's shown in Ogre Vision.
Ooh.
On a big giant screen in a big giant building. That is...
It's like a movie theater or something.
So, baffling to me, Shrek 4D is actually shown at multiple parks. Of course, it is here in Florida, which is why we covered it. It's also in Universal Studios Hollywood, which I was shocked as they were getting ready for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. You know, people were kind of wondering what was going to happen to Shrek there, and they saw all these walls go up and started really getting concerned. Like, oh, Shrek, not concerned, but like, oh my gosh, is Shrek going to go? And then it turns out, no, they're just like trying to ultra theme the area to be forests, and it looks beautiful.
Oh, it's super shaded now, and it's like, oh, great! You get the excitement builds for.
But yeah, it's still Shrek. Yeah. It's terrible, and it's also in Japan and Singapore. And funny enough, this was even shown outside of Universal Parks at one time. Hey, listen, I'm trying to talk.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm sorry.
This was shown at Movie Park Germany from May 2008 to July 2011, and it was also shown at the Warner Brothers Movie World in Australia from 2005 till 2010. And then for anyone else who feels like they have never seen this, well, you might have seen it as a bonus feature that was released on DVD when the original Shrek film came out. You could watch this whole movie as a bonus feature. And that's what I did right before this episode to really beef up on my Shrekness. So yeah, that's a little bit of the history for it. It first opened
on the Shrek 1 DVD or the Shrek 2
the Shrek
DVD?
1 DVD. And here's the deal. It opened up in 2003, June of 2003. It actually debuted in Hollywood a month earlier, and then it came into
14
Florida and
years,
Japan.
jeez.
Hey, and it feels like every single day of 14 years. And basically, for people out there who are unfamiliar with it, we're going to get into spoiler territory here. We have to. It is just that bad and that stupid that we have to.
I don't think we're going to spoil anything. Just going to put
Hey,
that there.
it's got the original cast recorded.
Yes, it does.
that.
It's now known as Shrek 4D. Originally, it was Shrek 3D when it was released on DVD as The Ghost of Lord Farquaad. Kind of say, yeah, I almost really screwed that one up. That could get bad. The Ghost of Lord Farquaad, and it brought back the entire cast of the movie that had roles in it. So we're talking Mike Myers as Shrek, John Lithgow as Lord Farquaad.
John Lithgow's my man.
This is dangerous. You're playing with fire, Craig.
I just said cod that time. I'm going to have to slow down right before I say Lord Farquaad. I can't look at that right now. You also have Cameron Diaz as Fiona, Eddie Murphy as Donkey. And then basically the rest of the roles are no-name people, just known for...
No Puss in Boots.
No, yeah, so Antonio Banderas is not in this yet. But yeah, so
It's the cat from in Puss in Boots. He in that one scene, it just goes, "Oh."
this film actually takes place right after the events of Shrek. So Shrek ends. Spoilers again for people out there. Watch the movie if you want to first to know how it ends. But it ends with Ogre Fiona and Shrek getting married. And so this starts as they are on their way to the honeymoon. But it starts for us just a little bit before. And I don't believe we have any pictures of it because we were kind of rushed through when we do. But I just want to talk about the queue for a quick second. Even if you've never done Shrek, maybe you came for Horror Nights this past year or last year and did one of the two houses that were in there. Krampus was here this year, Asylum in Wonderland the year before, but they made use of the Shrek theaters and as well as the Shrek queue. And it is actually really awesome. It's all outdoors. It's not indoors. It is covered, but throughout it, there's all these like fake attraction posters and stuff, and some of my favorite ones because like they have they mock classic Disney attraction posters. So like they have a Dumbo style poster, except you're flying on donkey instead, and they have like a throwback to a Tiki Room poster as well too, and it's actually for an outdoor queue that is kind of built before queues were really themed well. I think there's enough to entertain you while you're waiting 15 minutes, because we'll start right off the bat. I don't think you should wait more than 5 minutes for this thing. If it's a busy day, wait 15, but that's really if there's nothing else to do. And
No.
what was that?
No, I just said it's questionable waiting 15 minutes for that. No, it is good though. I would argue that the waiting in line to see the posters is possibly one of the best parts of the attractions. For anyone that is even just a little theme park fan, you'll love these, because every single one is just a poke at Disney. Like one of my favorites is the instead of great moments with Mr. Lincoln, they've got a great moments with Lord Farquaad. Yeah. So that's fantastic.
No, it's really good stuff. And then there's even a little bit of hope once you move into the main building with the pre-show. So the pre-show starts off, and Oliver, jump in, because I know you are very familiar on this too, as we just did this very recently. And Rhino's done it in the past year, so he knows more about the movie itself. Yeah, I'm saying it. You do.
The movie 4D or the regular movie?
Both.
Okay.
No, the more about the attraction film. And you do
Okay.
know a lot about the movies. Unfortunately, a little too much.
I just like Mike Myers.
You like your Mike Myers.
I like my Mike Myers.
You do. But yeah, the pre-show, and I'm sure it'll all start coming back to you too. It starts off where you walk in the room, and basically one of the people of the village is standing up there and basically just repeats over and over again everything that will result in you getting flogged.
Yes.
Oh my god! But when it's like an annoying team member, it's just the worst few minutes of your entire life. There's a flogging. I'm gonna punch you right in your head.
Well, what I will say is when Craig and I went on recently, the team member that was there, I thought was very good. He sold it very well. I enjoyed what he was doing an awful lot. He sold it. It was a part of the attraction. He really made it, you know, he plussed it up one for us.
In the first time I ever did Shrek 4D, I actually really enjoyed this part because the team member did sell it. If the team member sells it right there, it is an entertaining bit. And for a first timer, it's absolutely entertaining. It's actually a case where your best hope is to get, and like we did, get an older team member who doesn't, this is a part-time job for them, just something they did after retiring. And that's the person who's going to sell it the best. Not that if you walk in and see a younger person doing it, they're not going to put just as much into it. But I do believe that they will have a chance of being just as annoying as Rhino just said. But everyone's different. That is that. But then once all the flogging talk is over, that is where the story starts to pick up, and you're in the prison. Actually, you're in Lord Farquaad's dungeon.
Yeah.
Area, and
I'm listening.
50 Shades.
They need to update it and add some 50 Shades jokes in there.
Inside the dungeon, of course, Pinocchio is hanging in this box of sorts. I don't know the exact torture device name for it. I'm not really
up on that.
I'm not up on my torture device. The three little pigs are there as well too, and
also locked up in boxes.
Yes. And is there one more character that's locked up in a box?
There is. Gosh. I can only remember the three pigs.
Gumdrop guys on the screen.
The Gumdrop guys on the screen.
There is a screen as well, which does incorporate, like you said, the
gingerbread
man.
I call them Gumdrop guys.
Ginger. There is. What you're probably thinking of, Craig, is the magic mirror.
Yes, the magic mirror. Thank you.
Magic mirror is on the wall, and is the fairest of them all.
Yeah, because the magic mirror part's terrible because it starts up with like a long time ago in a galaxy, galaxy far, far away, and
that's Rupert Everett.
Doesn't matter. But yeah, basically, Lord Farquaad has started kidnapping all of the fairy tale creatures, and he's holding them in the dungeon. And he wants to. He wants to capture Fiona, and Sorry.
Well, this is where you kind of get introduced to the fact that it's taking place after the first film as well, because you realise that Lord Farquaad is actually a ghost, and obviously you see him in that spooky form.
He did,
but not only does he want to just capture Fiona to make her his wife, doesn't he also want to bring her over to the other side too, just to make it a little bit more morbid, if I remember correctly?
Oh, he does. That kind of leads us in. Like, we find out that he's, he is a ghost. He wants to find her, and that's the pre-show as a whole. So that leads us into the main theater, and we will take you through a dramatic retelling of Shrek. It's a 3D movie. We're not allowed to record in here, much like most of the things that are at Universal.
Oliver will now be doing all the voices, and it will be doing... Act one.
You tell the story, and I'll jump in with the voices as Craig does it.
Okay.
We open on a desolate land.
We open on a red curtain.
Hey, donkey. It doesn't even open with Shrek, does it? It's like,
That was Shrek?
Hey, yeah, that was Shrek. Princess, why's you crying?
Wow.
And then Princess Fiona is like, I am not crying. I'm not doing her voice. Donkey, I am not crying. I am in an onion. and then she's in an onion. So
It actually starts out with the Tinkerbell fairy flying through a map, and that's where you find out that they are on their way to their honeymoon.
She hits like a windshield or something, doesn't she? Or
She
something
hits.
like
She
that.
goes right into the map, and you find out that they're on their way to their honeymoon, but they are lost. That's why they are stopped, because men, when they are in charge, they cannot be good at directions.
I'm making waffles.
The best thing we can say about this movie it is stereotypically correct. So, my gosh. So yes, they're in their onion coach. There's a little thing about how she's crying in the onion, and so Donkey helps her roll down the windows, the top, so that way she's not crying anymore. And so while they're stopped here, this is when Thelonious, Lord Farquaad's kind of his sidekick. He's always like, "Hey guys," like
That
he
one I
almost
can
talks
do.
like Sloth
Oh, that guy, yeah.
from Goonies.
Sorry, princess.
that should be the only one I should ever do from this point on.
Yes,
I'm retiring every voice but the Englishman.
Just saying, your Eddie Murphy as Donkey was just slightly racist.
I
was a
apologize.
little-
I honestly did not intend for that.
It
to-
was a wee
it-
bit zippity doo dah Splash Mountain.
That was
Like,
not my intention at all, and I. Only when I seen your face did I realise the territory I might be on. I'm only going to stick to English characters from this point on. I apologise if I offended anyone. It was not my intention.
It was
I'm
pretty
sorry.
good.
Peter's going to be all over you.
It's
I'm sorry, it made my
it's a
day.
donkey.
This is hilarious. So,
Don't worry,
Thelonious-
this is actually better than the actual movie.
it really is. Oh gosh,
So anyway, Fart, whatever his name is, shows up.
Farquaad.
Farquaad.
no.
Joseph Farquaad.
Okay, sorry. Thelonious abducts Fiona for Lord Farquaad, and it starts on this chase versus the onion carrot, or
gosh.
with the onion carriage.
Yeah.
So here's the first thing we need to say: when you walk into the theater, you notice that it's not a normal 3D theater. You're expecting theater seats. And these, you can tell that the seats are definitely different because it looks like they're on a motorized base. And while that's because it is on a motorized base, that's part of where the 4D comes into this movie. So starting here
It's a little horrifying at first.
with this chase, you're moving and a horse is galloping and the blind mice horse are galloping too. So your seats start to gallop as well. And their words will be hard to get out to describe
The sounds.
this feeling
Imagine.
and the sounds.
Yeah, the sounds are like a transformer has broken down, and it's like this like hinging noise with like air spraying, like.
I would say the sound and the motion can both be summed up by imagining that you've just put about 30 house bricks into a washing machine, and then you've tried to like sit on it and hold it like a bowl, and it's just like, because it's just
I think I've done it before, but it's like, like if you have any ounce of body fat on you,
Yeah.
it will be jiggling.
You'll feel great about yourself.
You will feel terrible. It's terrible. So you're chasing and chasing and chasing, and you come up on Gingerbread's house, Gingy, because apparently he already escaped Lord Farquaad in that. I think I stopped paying attention at the pre-show at that point. He's working on his house with his
icing.
his icing, and this is where like it just first gets to me. So Thelonious jumps over the house on the horse, but Shrek goes right through it, and Gingy ends up on Shrek's onion coach, and this is like the first bad joke that I just had to write down because it was so awful. He says, and I'm not going in the pitch, but I want to though. I want to go in the pitch. I can't. I don't think I can
What
hit
is
it.
Yeah.
I can't hit Gingy.
Well, nothing can be worse than my impression so far. so-
draw buttons. Like I can't get up there.
buttons.
He says, I hope you're insured because that house cost me a lot of dough.
It was pretty good.
That was good. The line is what gets me.
Yeah, it was bad. I cannot hit that register.
It's like daytime television funny.
Like, punch me in the nuts and I'll be able to get up to that pitch maybe, but not this way. So
Cashews. He brought a bag of cashews.
expect badness like that throughout this entire thing. So, yes, the chase eventually comes to a close as you jump over this cliff and you finally get like a moment of breath from your chair shaking, like it's getting ready to put you into a seizure. And that's when you find out that you're in a cemetery with Lord Farquaad in there as a ghost. And essentially, he brings a dragon statue to life to kill Shrek and Donkey. But fortunately, Donkey's dragon ends up coming to save them. And then this starts a barrage of fart jokes and Star Wars humor, which, is pretty classic for Shrek.
Farquaad's the Force Ghost.
There's one time when Shrek falls from real dragon onto stone dragon, and stone dragon's about to blow fire on him, but Shrek farts and it just kind of dissipates or something. It's where you shake your head like, this is such a 90s joke. Like, who finds this funny still? And then eventually they go into this kind of canyon barrier, and it gets real close, like you're going through the Death Star trenches, and complete with, "This is Red Dragon, we're going in." Sorry, Oliver, can you do that, please? In your Scottish?
This is Red Dragon, we're going in.
Okay.
That was
and then,
too Scottish.
I was going to say, that was too good.
You were almost
Mike
there.
Myers wasn't.
Yeah,
it's like
they calm it down a little
back
bit.
a little, yeah.
And then he even says, "Stay on target."
Stay on target. That's
You're still too good at it.
Do you know what? It's more like Meredith than it is.
Yeah.
Hey, my whole family, they don't think I can do it, but I can,
And then
You could change your fate.
the worst part to me is when Dragon then spits fire. It's complete with that Star Wars laser sound coming out of it. Pew! Like, literally, it's just complete whatever.
But that's what Shrek always does. All the movies are like that.
So, yeah, I know, but it's awful in this day and age now. So, cut away to Farquaad, now with Fiona. They're on top of like a waterfall area, and Fiona's all tied up. Well, Farquaad wants to cut the rope, and she falls over the waterfall, dies, and that way they can be together as ghosts, and he can be king of the ghosts, I believe. King of the underworld is what he would be once he has his queen Fiona. Shrek and Donkey come and they save everyone. Felonious, you think he fell to his death, he didn't. Instead, Dragon comes and saves them all. Dragon blows fire on Farquaad. He explodes into a bunch of Farquaad ghost heads, and then those dissipate. And that's when it ends, with Dragon dropping off Shrek and Fiona at their honeymoon hotel, where that's where we finally get our "I'm making waffles" terrible joke.
Oh, good. He does say the waffle thing.
He does say it. I mean, you have
I
to
couldn't remember if he did in the ride or not.
At this point in time, this was essentially Eddie Murphy's catchphrase. "I'm making waffles." Hey, everyone was saying that back then, at least for little kids. I don't know about adults, but this was like that's a go-to thing. And they're excited to be alone, but inevitably, all the fairy tale creatures are there, including Pinocchio, where he ends up having his nose grown with a lie.
I'm not wearing ladies' underpants.
All ladies' underpants. So yeah, that's the ride. I mean, really, we'll have a link to one of the copyrighted videos that should not be on YouTube that's actually on there anyways, so you can watch it if you didn't want. I should have mentioned that before we started this. It's going to save people 10 minutes easily.
Why don't you just tell people to Google it so we stay in the clear there?
Hey, Google it.
Go on YouTube and search for it. You'll find it.
Not going to be in the show notes. And that ends it. You exit out into a gift shop, which actually it's Shrek's ye old souvenir shop. It's actually got way too much Shrek merchandise than should actually ever exist. Plush dolls, T-shirts. One of the worst shirts I've ever seen in the world that I took a picture of Oliver next to yesterday. That he was wearing Shrek ears as a headband, and it was standing next to it. It was like ye old bald guy or something on it. Or
sexy bald guy.
I'm a sexy bald guy, and then there was a women's shirt to go with it saying "I'm with the sexy bald guy."
Where's the picture?
It's
the picture. If you want to see the photo of me,
Unplugged.
it's on the Diz Unplugged Facebook.
So, oh my gosh, just bad. And then if you continue outside, right across the street, there is a separate attraction called Donkey's Photo Finish that is the meet and greet area where you get to meet Princess Fiona, not ogre version of Princess Fiona, as well as Shrek and Donkey. And this is actually a really fun meet and greet. Donkey is always hilarious. He was making fun of us while we were standing there.
He was.
Look at them paparazzi in the bushes. Like, it was pretty good.
The donkey's usually really good too.
Yeah,
It like sounds like donkey.
Oh, yeah.
And he speaks different languages.
oh,
I've seen, because I've been there, or at least one of them does, because I ruined some magic. But
Yeah.
the donkey, I saw, it was either Brazilians or something went up, and he's just started talking to them, and I was
That's
like,
cool.
I am really impressed right now.
well, and so just a quick tidbit. So let's say parents with kids out there, little girls maybe, who are looking for a princess character, something to meet. You're not at Disney, still something to do. This is technically the place in Universal where they can meet a princess, as meeting Princess Fiona. Might not know who she is, might not be, the best princess in the world, but it is still a princess nonetheless. And that is Shrek as a whole, the whole experience. So I don't think this part will take long. Thoughts on whether or not it should be in the Hall of Fame?
It's time to move on. I don't think there was anything really about it that made it original. I mean, it was a nice ride to have for families to go on. So there's something for kids that isn't just like thrill rides, that has motion and does the water effects that everybody loves, but it's just standard issue 3D attraction. So I don't think so.
I also do not think that it is worthy of any Hall of Fame out there, nor is it something that should still be at Universal. In my opinion, it is way past its time. Whereas I actually ended up, it was on TBS, Shrek 1, a couple nights ago, and I just randomly watched like the last half an hour of it. I'm like, okay, this actually, this
the
is still
first
an
one's
entertaining
okay.
movie.
The second one's where it's at.
I wasn't as huge a fan of the second one. I enjoyed the first one very much because it was that pleasant surprise. Like, wow, DreamWorks really, they can do something different. They can be entertaining and funny. And so I actually enjoy the movie. It just didn't click with this attraction. It's a bonus feature on the first DVD, and that's what it feels like in the park. It feels like a bonus feature with some mechanical chairs in it. I personally, if you're going to keep that space dedicated to DreamWorks, I've said it on this show before, I'll say it again, please put something in with How to Train Your Dragon.
Well, now that they own DreamWorks, I'm assuming that there's going to be some sort of push to make like an area dedicated to franchises like How to Train Your Dragon. You know they're making another Shrek movies. They've talked about it.
No,
and Madagascar, Panda, all that stuff.
I would love to see How to Train Your Dragon, and I feel like 3D is the best way to handle that. As much as I would love to see dark rides, we've even talked about that in the past before. I think save the dark rides for Leica attractions that we will never see any day in the future, because no one gave Kubo and the Two Strings a chance. Shame on you people. And there's people like Oliver who saw it and thought it was stupid.
Hey, at least I gave it a chance, though, didn't I?
That's a good point. He did give it a chance. But like How to Train Your Dragon, just that should be a 3D flying adventure of some sort.
That would be awesome.
Would love to see it. Heck, I would even love to see it matched up with like Forbidden Journey type of an attraction style. But obviously, it would lose the demographic of young children with that. Point is, it's time to go. Oliver?
I like Shrek. Shrek's a huge franchise that I love to bits. I've seen all of the films multiple times. The attraction is such a letdown. The video itself isn't. It's not that it's not entertaining. The actual video is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The actual movie. It's the ride system and how well it's executed. So you've got to remember that we've, like, especially just lately, I've been riding a lot of these motion simulator type attractions with Despicable Me.
Yeah.
And Despicable Me, which was originally, Jimmy Neutron, that's not a young attraction. That's, it's on the older side. But the 3D on that holds up. The 3D on this does not. The sad truth is 3D TVs have better 3D than this. And you're paying that e-ticket price to get into a theme park. Yeah, not anymore. But you're paying that that e-ticket price, that high ticket price to get into a theme park to come and see something that's less quality than you might be able to get at home. And the seating that moves is just terrible. I'm sure that it's through a lot of people's backs out if you suffer with back conditions. So, yeah, it's not an impressive attraction. And personally, I would love to see them use that space for an all year round house like we see at Halloween Horror Nights, because now I've seen that they can do that. That is exactly what I want. I want Krampus to stay.
If that was an option, I would love that too.
Yep.
I do disagree though. I think the video is bad. I don't. It does not hold up. And I guess, see, and this is the bad part, is like I said I liked Shrek when I watched it, and it still holds up. A lot of what Shrek did though was tried to bring in that pop culture humor, and while it was funny at the time, even in this 3D attraction, Fiona does a Matrix moment at one point.
Yeah.
All of those things, while I know they were funny at the time with the movie, and it still kind of works, but it's because we grew up in that time. I don't know how a smaller kid would react seeing that now and not knowing all those references over and over and over again, because they're not subtle references at all. They are very specific references.
Yeah.
So it's just, to me, even though the movie might not have aged well, I think there's still enjoyment in it. But this 3D movie, there's too many pop culture moments, even in this movie alone, that just take it totally out. So we all agree it is in no way ever worthy of being in any Universal Hall of Fame, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. Awesome. Well, we will leave the voting up to you, as we always do, over at disboards.com. If you go to the Diz Unplugged podcast section, we'll have the voting up at some point, basically when I feel like it, unless someone else wants to make it. I'm always game on that, but we'll get that up later.
You need a cricket sound
in the day. Cricket. And you will be able to vote on whether or not it is, because while we are able to share our opinions on it, we always ultimately leave it up to you. And when we're finished and done with it one day, maybe I will have 5 minutes to sit down and actually make a button to say these are Hall of Fame attractions, so that way people know. It's the people's voice, man. It is the people's voice.
The people.
The people.
For you, the people.
Okay.
I don't know what you were doing.
Yeah,
That was Bane from...
No, that was not.
That sounded like a water princess or something, like some sort of animated fish movie.
It sounded like it sounded like the who's the guy from Fresh Off the Boat that played Kim Jong Un in the interview. That's what it sounded like.
Do it again.
No, that's not. No.
It's funny because your mom says you love doing voices.
Jane.
So we'll let you vote on it. You can tell us, and of course, if you can't find where that link's going to be, you can check in the show notes. That's where we have everything involved with the Universal show and all the other shows on the Diz Unplugged podcast network. It's where you'll find links to social media for us on Facebook, Twitter, this, that, and the other. Make sure you're following us. We're finally stepping up our game on it, posting more and more and more and more. So you're going to want to be along for the ride. Remember, we're still accepting video contributors too, for Universal specifically right now. So please, if you're interested at all, if you think you have the chops, what it takes to get your videos posted on the Diz YouTube channel, please send us in a submission. We've got some good ones already, but we want more and more and more. So please do that. You'll also find links to Patreon on there if you want to help support the Diz in any ways. The Diz Unplugged, you'll get some exclusive content that Rhino and Oliver are doing a fantastic job putting out there for you. So please check out all of that stuff. Of course, you can find it again at dizunplugged.com. Make sure you are subscribed to us on iTunes and YouTube, and make sure you're leaving comments, feedback. It's always fun reading them. Sometimes it's infuriating, but it's always fun.
You said that last time.
Always fun getting worked up.
It's always fun getting worked up and having my heart rate elevate. But no, guys, at the end of the day, all I have to do is say thank you so much. It's fun doing this every week for you. And next week's going to be exciting. Rhino and I are going to be bringing you our coverage from a celebration of Harry Potter. So at least we know what that show's going to be about now. One less thing off my checklist of what to do. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you too in the room. This was a lot of fun. We will be back with you next week. We just ran out again time for you the resolutions. I apologize, but we will be back with you next week for the next edition of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. Saying edition a lot. Okay, I'm just gonna go bye.